What if I told you that the life you're living right now isn't entirely yours? That the decisions you make, the beliefs you hold, even the emotions you feel when you wake up in the morning may not be born from your own will, but from the invisible hands of others. Sit with that thought for a moment. Because if you're honest, you've felt it before, that eerie suspicion that the choices you make are not entirely your own. Think about it. You wake up and scroll through your phone, letting a stranger's curated version of life dictate the tone of your day. You go to work or school measuring your worth against systems designed not for your flourishing, but for your obedience. And when you're alone at night, you ask yourself, is this it? That whisper inside you isn't weakness. It's your mind pulling at the chains you don't even know you're wearing. Philosophers have been warning us about this trap for centuries. Nietzsche once said, "Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed." And here's the uncomfortable truth. We prefer illusions. We cling to lies because they give us comfort. They tell us we're good enough, smart enough, destined for greatness, even when we secretly know we're stuck, passive, and afraid. But why do we fear the truth? Because truth demands responsibility. Bonhoeffer, writing under the shadow of Nazi Germany, described how the stupidity of the masses was more dangerous than malice. Not because people were inherently evil, but because they surrendered their ability to think critically. They chose comfort over responsibility, and in that choice, they gave away their freedom. Maybe you feel that too. You avoid the hard conversation because it's easier to smile. You bury yourself in distractions because silence feels unbearable. You pretend to be happy because admitting emptiness would force you to change. Plato called this the cave. Imagine prisoners chained from birth facing a wall. All they see are shadows, distorted reflections of reality. Yet they call it truth. The world outside the cave is too bright, too painful, too overwhelming, so they stay where it's safe. But here's the question you must confront. Are you living in the cave? And worse, do you even want to leave? Machiavelli had a brutal answer. He believed most people don't seek truth or freedom at all. They seek survival, power, reputation. He warned that loyalty without reciprocity is weakness. That appearances matter more than sincerity. In a way, he was right. How many times have you bitten your tongue, not out of kindness, but because you feared losing approval? How often do you present a version of yourself that isn't real, because you know reality won't be accepted? And yet, that's the trap. The more we conform, the less of ourselves we become. Slowly, without noticing, we trade authenticity for safety. We abandon our raw self for a polished shadow. We shrink to fit the expectations of others until one day we don't even remember what our true voice sounds like. Let me tell you a story. In ancient Sparta, a boy was caught stealing a fox. Instead of confessing, he hid the animal under his cloak. As he stood before his captors, the fox clawed and bit into his stomach. The boy remained silent, choosing death over shame. When the cloak was pulled back, he collapsed, bloodied, lifeless. He had protected the appearance of strength, even at the cost of his life. And isn't that what many of us do? We let the lies we carry devour us from within, while we maintain the mask of composure. Psychology has a name for this: cognitive dissonance. The painful gap between the life we project and the truth we suppress. The more we deny it, the louder the fox claws. Anxiety, burnout, depression, a silent war inside our chest. And yet, we go on smiling. But here's the twist. What if the truth you're avoiding isn't your enemy, but your liberation? Nietzsche spoke of the Übermensch, not a superhuman, but a person who breaks free from the lies of the herd and creates their own values. Not someone who follows blindly, but someone who dares to say, "This is who I am. This is my path. This is my truth." It's terrifying, yes. To admit your job drains your soul, to confess your relationship feels empty, to confront that the dreams you once had were borrowed, not chosen. But this terror is the beginning of freedom. As the Stoics taught, no man is free who is a slave to his illusions. Ask yourself, what lies have I been living? Whose approval am I chasing? What truths am I too afraid to face? Sit with those questions and don't look away, because behind the fear there is something waiting, something raw, something alive. The world will not reward you for finding your truth. In fact, it may punish you. People may call you arrogant, selfish, even cruel for refusing to play along with their illusions. That's the price. But what's the alternative? To keep feeding the fox until it consumes you? To remain a prisoner in the cave while calling the shadows life? You see, freedom doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes wrapped in fire. It burns away everything false. It leaves you naked, exposed, but alive. And maybe that's why so few choose it. Because truth doesn't guarantee happiness. It guarantees reality. And only in reality can you build a life that's truly yours. So, I'll leave you with this. You can keep hiding, keep performing, keep letting the fox gnaw at your insides while you smile for the crowd. Or you can take the painful, terrifying step into the light. You can risk being misunderstood, rejected, even hated. But finally, be free. The choice is yours. Stay in the cave or walk into the fire. But remember this, the most dangerous comfort is the lie you tell yourself. And the only way out is truth.